The snow fell softly on Riverside Plaza, each flake drifting down like a whispered prayer. Christmas lights twinkled in the winter darkness, casting warm golden halos across the busy square. People hurried past with shopping bags and bright smiles, their breath making small clouds in the cold December air. In the middle of all this holiday cheer sat a small girl in a wheelchair, watching the world go by. Her name was Lily Chen, and she was 7 years old. She wore a pink knit hat pulled down over her ears and a puffy pink jacket that her mother had found at the thrift store last winter. The wheelchair beneath her was decorated with stickers and ribbons, colorful little touches that her mom had added to make it feel more like hers. Lily wasn't asking for money or holding a sign. She was simply watching the families pass by, observing the way fathers lifted children onto their shoulders, the way mothers held small hands tightly in the crowd. She studied these moments carefully, storing them away like precious photographs in her mind. Her mother, Sarah Chen, stood a few feet away at their small cart, selling handmade jewelry and crafts. Sarah's hands moved quickly despite the cold, arranging necklaces and bracelets under the dim light of a battery-powered lamp. Her face was tired but kind, with worry lines that had appeared too early, carved by years of struggle and sacrifice. The plaza was especially crowded tonight. The big Christmas tree at the center stood 30 feet tall, covered in thousands of lights that seemed to pulse with magic. Children pressed their faces against shop windows, pointing at toys and games. Somewhere in the distance, carolers sang about silent nights and holy nights. Lily turned her attention back to the crowd, and that's when she noticed him. A man stood near the fountain, perfectly still while everyone else rushed around him. He wore an expensive black coat that looked soft as butter, and his dark hair was styled with the kind of precision that spoke of professional care. But it wasn't his clothes that caught Lily's attention. It was the way he was looking at her mother's cart, his expression thoughtful and distant, as if he were seeing something that reminded him of another time, another life. The man started walking toward them, his shoes making soft sounds on the snowy pavement. As he got closer, Lily could see his face more clearly. He was probably in his early 30s, with kind eyes that seemed sad somehow, despite the gentle smile on his lips. He stopped at the cart and picked up a bracelet, examining it carefully. "Did you make this?" he asked Sarah. Sarah looked up, surprised. "Yes, sir. I make everything here. It's beautiful work," he said quietly. "Really beautiful." Sarah's cheeks flushed slightly. "Thank you. That one is $15. The man nodded and pulled out his wallet, but instead of taking out a 20, he removed a business card. "My name is James Morrison," he said. "I run a foundation that helps families in need, especially during the holidays." Sarah's expression shifted, becoming guarded. "We're doing fine, thank you. Mom makes the best jewelry in the whole city," Lily called out from her wheelchair, her voice bright and proud. James turned to look at her, and something in his face softened even more. He walked over and knelt down beside her wheelchair, bringing himself to her eye level. "Hi there," he said gently. "I'm James. What's your name?" "Lily," she said, studying his face carefully. "Are you rich?" "Lily," Sarah said sharply, embarrassment coloring her voice. But James just laughed, a real laugh that made his eyes crinkle at the corners. "That's a pretty direct question," he said. "I suppose I have more money than I need. Why do you ask?" Lily thought about this for a moment, her small face serious. "Because rich people can do things. Important things. My teacher told us about people who help other people because they have extra money." "Your teacher sounds very wise," James said. "And yes, I try to do important things when I can." He stayed there, kneeling by her wheelchair, and they talked. Lily told him about school, about her favorite books, about how her mom worked 3 jobs to take care of her. She told him about the accident 2 years ago, the one that had taken her ability to walk in her father's life in one terrible moment. She spoke about these heavy things with a child's honesty, without self-pity, just stating facts the way someone might describe the weather. James listened to every word, his expression growing more serious as she spoke. "We used to have a house," Lily said, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. "But after Daddy died and the medical bills came, we had to leave. Now we live in a small apartment, but Mom says it's cozy. She always says things are cozy when they're really just small." "Lily, that's enough," Sarah said, her voice tight with emotion. She had left the cart and come over to stand behind her daughter's wheelchair, her hands gripping the handles. "I'm sorry, Mr. Morrison. We're fine, really. We don't need charity." James stood up slowly, his eyes moving from Lily to Sarah and back again. "I wasn't offering charity," he said quietly. "I was going to offer something else." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "I lost my daughter 3 years ago," he said, and his voice cracked slightly on the word, daughter. She was 8. She had the same color hair as Lily, the same bright way of looking at the world. Since then, I've been trying to find meaning in what happened. Trying to find a way to honor her memory. Sarah's face softened, her guard dropping slightly. "I've been thinking about adoption," James continued. "About giving a child in need a stable home, opportunities, everything I can provide." And when I saw Lily sitting there, something in my heart just recognized her. The plaza seemed to grow quieter around them, as if the world had paused to listen. Lily looked up at her mother, then back at James. Her small face was very serious, wise beyond her years. "Mr. Morrison," she said slowly, "you seem like a very nice man. And I think you have a good heart. But I need to tell you something important." James knelt down again, giving her his full attention. "Please don't adopt me," Lily said, her voice clear and firm. "Adopt my mom instead." James blinked, confusion crossing his face. "What? My mom is the best person in the whole world," Lily explained, her words coming faster now. "She works so hard, and she never complains, and she always makes sure I'm okay even when she's tired. But she's so lonely, Mr. Morrison. Since Daddy died, she hasn't had anyone to help her carry all the heavy things. Not just the bags and the wheelchair and the cart. The other heavy things too. The worried things. The scared things." Tears were sliding down Sarah's face now, but she didn't interrupt. "If you adopted me, I'd have a better life, but Mom would be all alone," Lily continued. "But if you married Mom, then we'd all be together. We could be a family. A real family. And nobody would have to be alone anymore." James stood up slowly, looking at Sarah with an expression of wonder and something else, something deeper. "That's quite a daughter you have there," he said, his voice rough with emotion. Sarah laughed through her tears. "She's always been wise beyond her years." "I'm not proposing marriage to a stranger," James said, but he was smiling. "But I am proposing something. Let me take you both to dinner. Let's talk. Let's see if maybe, just maybe, this is one of those Christmas miracles people sing about." He held out his hand, and after a long moment, Sarah took it. "I'm not promising anything," she said firmly. "I'm not asking for promises," James replied. "Just a chance." Lily beamed up at both of them, and in the background, the Christmas carolers began singing, "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." The snow continued to fall, and the lights continued to glow, and in Riverside Plaza on that cold December night, 3 lonely people found the courage to hope for something better. Sometimes the most unexpected families are the ones that fit together best. Sometimes a child's wisdom can see what adults are too afraid to believe. And sometimes, Christmas miracles happen not because of magic, but because someone is brave enough to ask for what they truly need. As they walked together toward the warm lights of the restaurant district, Lily's wheelchair making tracks in the fresh snow, none of them noticed that the business card James had tried to give Sarah earlier had fallen to the ground. By morning, it would be covered in snow and forgotten. But they wouldn't need it anyway. They had something better now. They had each other.